Hey everyone, it's Kenji, and I'm making myself a burger. So I was going to make this for lunch and thought I'd just shoot it. Last Friday we shot a new burger episode for the YouTube channel, and I had this leftover beautiful, freshly ground beef from Beast and Cleaver, which is a butcher shop. I think probably the best butcher shop in the country up in Ballard. And so I'm going to make a burger for lunch. I probably won't eat all of it because this is quite a bit of ground meat I had left over. All right, so ground chuck this is, mostly chuck. It's a little mix of some other scraps in there also, but you're looking for meat that's about, at least 20% fat or so when you're making a burger, which this one seems to have plenty of fat in there. And for a nice thick burger like this, you do want to get it freshly ground from the butcher, as opposed to using, like one of those cryovac packs from the supermarket. The reason is twofold. Partly it's a textural reason. When it's freshly ground from the butcher, it's going to be looser in texture. Your burger's going to get these nice little pockets of sort of melted fat and juices, as opposed to when you get it kind of all compressed in one of those cryovac containers, or if it's been really tightly wrapped in plastic where it's going to be a little denser. The other reason is safety, because for a thick burger like this, I like it, sort of on the medium rare side, so not sort of fully cooked all the way to the center. When you get it from a butcher, you're generally only getting cuts from one animal in there. And so the chances that one animal has any sort of contamination are relatively low. When you get it from a supermarket where it's a sort of pre-packaged cryovac thing, you have no idea how many animals that meat is coming from. Likely a lot, because it's coming from a factory where there are many animals being processed at the same time, and all the scraps go into the same sort of big batch to be ground. And so your chances of having some sort of contamination in there are greatly increased when you buy sort of packaged ground beef. All right, so you see I formed this as gently as I could. I did it, I like doing it on a plate or on a tray rather than in my hands, because that way you can kind of just use your hands to shape it into a nice patty shape. Something a little bit bigger than the bun is what we're looking for, because it will shrink as we cook. I'm going to season it with salt, pepper, and some MSG. Oh, you know what I'll do? My friend Hillary brought me some packets of this Cajun Sparkle from Popeyes. So I will use that on the other side. Cajun Sparkle burgers. I think it's a mix of like salt, pepper, MSG, and a few other spices like garlic, and what else is in there? Ooh, dehydrated Worcestershire sauce, garlic, onions, paprika, a few other things. All right, that looks good. And I'm going to take this onion, I have this quarter onion sitting in my fridge. I'm going to slice it up nice and thin. And then what I'll do is I will push that straight into the patty here. You don't want to mix things into your patty. Like I wouldn't want to put this in a bowl and mix it all up and get the onion sort of mixed in with the meat, because when you do that, it ends up kind of tasting like meatloaf, and you get these sort of like raw. Oh, you know what else I put in? You get these sort of raw onion flavors in there, or these kind of steamed onion flavors, because the onion actually has to get to a higher temperature than the meat to cook properly. But anyway, I always, if I'm going to put anything on my burger other than just beef, it goes on the outside only. That way you don't overwork the meat, you don't change the texture of it, and you don't end up with a sort of meatloaf type flavor. All right, I got this serrano pepper that I also happen to have in my fridge. Let's also embed a few slices of that in here underneath that onion, huh? I should have put the peppers on first, but I didn't think of it till just now. All right. That should be enough to give it a little flavor. This reminds me of my my favorite burger order at In-N-Out, which is a burger a single double, so 1 patty, 2 slices of cheese, cooked animal style, that is, with cooked in mustard with extra pickles and extra sauce. And then I like to add chopped chilies, which means they take one of those sort of pickled sport peppers or the pickled whatever peppers they use there, chop it up and push it into the patty as it's cooking. And I also like to add double onion, so raw onion and a whole slice of grilled onion. All right, let me get my toppings ready. It's going to be some shredders. Oh, thank you to everybody who ordered the Von Helmick knife, by the way. My friend Gordon, who makes these knives in Falls City, Oregon, was overjoyed at how at the response. They sold out. We made 100 knives, or he made 100 knives, I should say, and they sold out in about a minute. So, you know, they're handmade, and they're going to go at his schedule. But he's hoping to do another run. Just, you know, stay tuned on my social media channels, or follow Von Helmick, VONHELMICK, on Instagram for info about the next knife drop. All right, I got these little slightly overripe, a little past their prime Campari tomatoes. See some of that here too. I got some Grillo's pickle chips. I like a lot of pickles on my burger. And I got some American cheese. Let's do 2 slices of that. American cheese, the best cheese for a burger because of its melting qualities. And finally, some of my friend Molly Baz's Ayo Mayo. This is the hot Jardinero, which I think is maybe one of the best condiments I've ever tried. No, this is not sponsored content or anything like that. It's just, this stuff is just that good. All right, what else do I need? I need a little bowl with a bit of oil and a paper towel so I can wipe my oil up my grill grates outside. Tongs, spatula, condiments and stuff, oil, burger. I think we're good to go. All right, let's head out onto the deck here. I've had this grill preheating. One side, this side is low and this side is hot. Nice and hot. It's been preheating for about 15 minutes or so. I'm gonna oil up that grill grate. I like to put a couple coats of oil on it. It's almost like you know, you're seasoning cast iron pan or something like that, where you put the first batch of oil on, let it smoke a little bit, polymerize, and then add another layer of oil. And you build up sort of a nice non-stick layer by doing that. Okay, let's get these chilies back on there. All right, so I'm gonna start this. Should we start it? Let's start a chili side down over the hottest part of my grill. All right. I'm gonna cover this. So when you're cooking burgers, if you leave the grill, the lid of the grill, oh, there's a seaplane going by. See, plane. The lid of the grill, on a gas grill, if you close the lid, you're gonna get higher heat. It's gonna heat up more because gas grills are vented so that the fuel is gonna burn efficiently whether it's open or closed. So by closing the lid, you trap in that heat. Whereas a charcoal lid, when you put the lid on, it's actually going to cool down a bit because you're cutting off some of the oxygen supply, so the charcoal will burn a little less efficiently. So it's a little counterintuitive, but for a gas grill, if you want higher heat, you leave the lid closed, and for a charcoal grill, if you want higher heat, you leave the lid open. All right, I'm gonna let that first side sear for a couple minutes, and I will come back and see you in a couple minutes. All right, I'm gonna see how this guy's doing. Ooh, we're dripping some juices. We're gonna lose all the onions and chilies? Hopefully not. Let's see. Most of them. Let's pull them back on. I suppose I could have pressed those in a little more carefully than I did. It's okay. They look like they're gonna taste real good though. I am going to place my my spatula here just over the hottest part of the grill for a moment, because the spatula, I was using it to handle the raw meat, and now as we're sort of approaching no longer raw meat territory, I want to make sure that I don't recontaminate my my burger patty with any raw juices left on the spatula. So we'll just make sure that that's all sterilized, which it should be by now. All right, I'm gonna let it now sit on the second side until it gets really, really nice and crusty. That should take a few minutes, so I will see you again in a few more minutes. All right, I think we're looking nice and, oh yeah, nice and brown under there. Let's get our cheese on. Okay, let's get our bun toasted up. This bun is a, you know, it's what they call brioche at Whole Foods. It's not really brioche. It's more, you know, somewhere between a sort of inexpensive hamburger bun texture and brioche. So it's a little softer and more sort of giving than true brioche would be. I think a real brioche bun, you know, if a bun were really made out of brioche, it would be a little too, sort of fluffy, you know, a little too much texture in there. I want a burger bun that holds together just well enough to get you to the last bite of the burger, and no more, no less, you know. A thinner burger, I would actually just use a sort of cheap supermarket hamburger bun, something like, you know, like a Wonder Bread style bun. But a thicker burger like this, I think it can do with a little more support, because those really cheap generic hamburger buns tend to fall apart before you're done with a sort of thicker, juicier burger like this. All right, let's give that side a little bit more color. All right, I'm gonna do hot giardiniera. So this is basically, well, giardiniera, you know, the condiment from Chicago, with mayo, and I think it's delicious. All of the stuff from AO Mayo has been really delicious. All right, a little bit more on the bottom here. Let's go with our pickle layer. I always like to do bottomings instead of toppings. I find that the burger has better structural integrity that way. Let's do a little tomato. Oh shoot, I forgot my salt to salt the tomatoes, but that's all right. It's all right for today. Our shreddis. I like to put a little bit of shreddis right under the burger bun as sort of an anchor. You know, it's like this, the friction layer, and it also it absorbs the burger juices, almost like a, you know, like a meat flavored vinaigrette that goes onto that lettuce. All right, so you see our burger shrunk down until it's just slightly bigger than the bun, which I think is a good proportion. What do you think of that? I think it looks pretty good. Juicy, charred. Shall we go in for a bite? Whew. Oh, look at those juices dripping down. The chilies and onions come through nicely, actually. I love that flavor of roasted chilies. Lightly blackened chilies. And that jardinera, a little heat, a little tanginess. I am going to end up eating this whole thing. All right. There's a big, fat, juicy grilled burger for you. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, I apologize for the noise out here, but I'll see you next time. All right.